Hi, everyone. I'm Greg. I'm a paranormal investigator with Shadow Hunters. I'm also a medium empath and and lover of the paranormal. What's going on right now is we're a little bit off kilt, so there's a couple little technical snafus that are going on. Jason's going to be a few minutes late, but he's going to be thrown on here as soon as he gets in. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit and get the announcements out of the way now before he gets here, so we have no complications. So, first of all, as we all know, we have shows every day of the week. Uh, it all starts out with Psychics Unite, 6:30 on Mondays, Tuesdays, Oracle cards readings by Sharon. That's at 7 o'clock. That's Sharon Moritz. Wednesday is Scotty Works. Scotty Talks About at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Thursday is Devin Evans and Truth Bumps, which is that feeling you get on your arms when you hear something that relates to you that you long pursued. Friday is this show, the Shadow Hour, where I talk about basically to talk to about the paranormal to friends of mine that I met across the country in the paranormal, that I've done investigations with, that I met at ghost cons, etc. Uh, Saturday, Saturday night, we have Nick Sarlo's show on YouTube, and you'd have to look it up to see the name of it right now because I don't have that listed. I didn't plan on going that far tonight on this. But anyway, all the shows, my shows, any donations that are made to my show, all go to Lost Limbs. It does for the network too, for our shows. So a couple of the things that are happening that'll be coming up. We've got a paranormal and psychic convention at Mansfield Reformatory, May 22nd, May 23rd, and that's $1.25 a person for a table. You can get in for 25 or 30 or 23 or $25, and then you have for tables it's 125, and then if you get a table as a vendor, then you're going to be paying $20 per person over that besides the table. So you can have two people with a table and that. And then the other one that's really interesting is going to be Post Town. And I thought I had the dates for that right here. It's in September. But what's interesting about Post Town is the fact that that's going to be a free event, and everybody's going to be able to stay there on the grounds of the school, and it's going to be a convention, haunted house, investigation, all around great time for a couple of days, and that's going to involve where or what dinner reservations, laugh on loud. Oh boy, Linda. Well, that's the crux of what I have right now, and we all know who I am, and I'm Greg Kos, and the other thing that I wanted to mention is a shout out to Spirit Recon and to Fred. Fred did a live this afternoon for about 3 minutes. He's home recovering he had brain surgery and tumors. And I'd like to ask you all to keep him in your prayers. he sounds like he's doing real good, but now he's going to go into the radiation and chemo type thing. So that's going to be coming out for him. So keep him in your prayers. We don't want anybody unprotected, and that's the best way to put it. He's a great guy, and he's meant a world to a lot of people, and it would be nice for us to do that. Another thing that can be brought up is the fact that Nicholas has got a video now on YouTube that says, "Do you think you're psychic?" And you can go ahead and go to that video and watch the video, and it'll give you all the signs of if you think you have gifts. And we all know that most of us do have gifts to the extent of, unbeknownst to us, if we leave it uncovered, or leave it covered, we'll never uncover it. To a lot of people, if they're never given the opportunity. And Julie Webster, thank you, Julie, says non-con at Posttown is September 25th and 26th. Nicholas is in here right now. Let me go down the names of the people. Danny's here. Hey, Danny. Kat. Hey. Jen Hudson. Hey. Linda Morrison. Hello. How are you? And that's about it right now. I love how he calls you Nicholas. Nicholas, that's his surname, so I'm treating him with respect. He's a great guy, and I like to screw around with him every once in a while, and everybody seems to think I should just call him Nick, and I think it's more fitting at times. Keeps everybody in the right perspective. Tammy Horton says hi. Barbara says hi. So any minute now, people. I mean, he said he's going to be about 10 minutes late, and that was at 5 minutes till. Jason's on his way. He should be coming in at any moment. If you guys have any quick questions you'd like to ask, you're more than welcome. Ask away. Be a good time to find out some things about what I do anyway. So where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I do when I'm not doing this, that, and them. For those that don't know it, I used to guide quite a bit. Muskies on the Fox Chain of Lakes in southeast Wisconsin. As I've gone on in time and become a part-time, basically, guide, and now since I'm retired and have been retired for a while, I like to enjoy my fishing. I still pursue them. They're great fish. And I enjoy it immensely, and I like to keep it that way. So I do that. I do. Hi, Alma. Glad to see you. Sorry, I'm joining you tonight. Who's joining me tonight, Tina? It's Jason Snider from Southern Illinois, paranormal investigator, Crawford County Ghost Chasers. He's done a lot of work, very thorough investigations, quite a skeptic, very interesting gentleman. And he's got a great team down there, and he's got a lot of territory with a lot of ghosts and spirits wandering around. So it says, wait a minute, if you got any more lures painted. No, I didn't get to it this week. I wanted to, but I didn't get there. Normally I get some time to get some of them done. What's interesting about this today too, not to change the subject on the muskie baits, but tonight we have Jason Snider with an I from Crawford County Ghost Chasers in Southern Illinois. And then next week on Friday, we have the other Jason Snider from Indiana, from Fort Wayne, I believe it is, who's got his own show on. I can't believe I got it written down somewhere. Uh, this is Firesides, I believe it is. He does a show on a podcast on. I want to say it's Tuesday nights, and he's on there with his partner. I want to say JT, and they do a lot on the paranormal too. They do a lot of good shows, questioning a lot of things that have happened. I ran into him quite a while ago when Hellier was big, and no, Jason Snider's on next week. Tina Marie. So it's really great to know that, you know, when I went on his show and we were talking about Hellier, that it was just great to find that conversation on a weekly basis at night, you know, and a lot of guys cross over and they go from the paranormal and they go all the way to the opposite end with the cryptics. So, you know, and that's Bigfoot and the monster of Bray Road, and you know, all those other characters that are out there running around, especially my favorite, which is Mothman. So anybody that's had the opportunity to get out to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, it's quite a thing to get out there and actually see what they've done with all that from the Mothman prophecies, basically the book. And it's a great town, a small town, but they've capitalized on Mothman to try to keep it all alive. And that's what's great about the place, because, you know, back in the day, I could go all the way back into the late 80s, early 90s, and I'd be fishing out in an area called Cave Run Lake in eastern Kentucky. And that was 43 miles away from Hellier, the town of Hellier, that series that was done by Greg and Dana Newkirk. And the boys from the Stanley Hotel, and to get that all put together and started out and make a big story about it and have a bunch of people mesmerized for 3 or 4 years, it's a great thing. So Robin Williams Davis says hello. So, you know, all in all, what's really neat is Mr. Jason Snider has been doing investigations. He averages investigations about maybe 8 investigations a week. In the fall, when I had him on the show, we were talking, and it's like, I don't know how he knows it's even daylight or dark outside by the amount of investigations he's been doing, plus keeping a job at the same time. That's pretty hairy, and he's got a bigger team. He has some great people on his team. He's been around a while. He's always very, very nice and accommodating. He's a great guy, and hopefully he's here. But, you know, that's the way it goes. It's trying to keep it on. He's not here yet?
Hi, he's trying to get on. His computer is updating. So he's trying to find a mobile hotspot to come say hi to everybody.
Okay.
I just thought I'd come on.
For everyone that doesn't know, this is Kelly Griffey. She's a member of GRS, Ghost Research Society, from the south side of Chicago. She's my wingman. She usually is very good at keeping me alive.
Vice versa.
Before I get eaten by the sharks.
I am looking for the Netflix documentary they did down south with Crawford County, Illinois ghosts. Research Society. I'm not too sure what their full name is.
Crawford County Ghost Chasers.
Okay. So they did an actual Netflix show that I am going to look up here. I will share it in the hanging of, who was that?
Yes. Betsy Rose, or it's a woman.
Yeah. Whoops. My Netflix is going here. Okay. I'm going to look for that. So if you want to keep chatting about
I'll keep on
your
talking.
Experience with Jason. Yeah. Okay, doke.
Everybody's saying hello to you.
Betsy Reed.
And
hello, everybody.
Reed. There you go. It is a very good video for those people that haven't seen it. I've watched it, and it's really well put together. It tells the story and where the location is, supposedly where she was buried, and then they don't know if she was moved or not. And there's some speculation that she was still in this field by where they had the gallows set up. And Jason and his team investigated all of that, and they weren't responsible for the documentary. They were literally cameramen and historians as far as the setup was concerned. I can't remember who the guy's name was that did the documentary, but it's okay. So Karen Cat says Joe Curry did a fantastic job, and the hanging it's on Amazon Prime.
That's it, Amazon. No wonder I couldn't find it.
I think that's where I saw it too. Thank you very much.
That's
right. I appreciate it, Kel. And that's Kelsey. So you got Kelsey, then you got Joe Turry, who's the guy that did the video, and Karen mentioned that, and we thank her for that. Plus the name Betsy Reed, which I would have left out because I can't remember anything anymore.
I'm going to disappear, and I'm going to try to get Jason. He can't get in. He says the link's not working, so I'll be back.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kelly. Okay, guys. I hope you're hanging in there. If you have to, go get some popcorn. Give me some, too. That'd be a good idea. Almost here. Who have I not mentioned? Have I seen everybody? There's quite a few people. Hopefully everybody's still hanging in there. And he is coming. As soon as they get him hooked up, he'll be here. So I don't want to leave him out in the cold. He's been out in the cold down there for quite some time lately. It's probably frozen. It'd be great for him to get back in here where it's warm. Linda Morrison says, I have a son named Nicholas and only call him Nicholas when he is being a bit of a pain in the rear. That's not Nick Sarlo. Nicholas is not a pain in the tuckus. So we'll leave that at that. He's a great guy. He's a very creative individual when it comes to all this in front of us here with the computer and everything. And here he is. Jason.
Hey, Greg.
How you doing?
I'm good. Had a little problem logging in. Link wouldn't work, and when I got on my computer was updating, so that didn't work out too well. So I'm doing the mobile version tonight.
So that's good. It's good that you got your hat on because your hair's probably standing straight up right now, huh?
It probably is. I probably pulled most of it out.
For all those that don't know, this is Jason Snider, Crawford County Ghost Chasers. He's a great investigator. He's a very good skeptic. Has been a skeptic, but I think over the last year or so, he's come to some awakenings as far as his paranormal journey is concerned, which is very impressive because you brought it out yourself on a few things that have happened. And I know that a lot of them are associated with a location of yours that you've been investigating extensively since the fall. If not sooner, I don't know, and that is where, and why don't you tell everybody about it so everybody gets an idea of what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah, what Greg's talking about is a location called Pine Lawn Manor, and we've been investigating that place, for a while. We started last September, in September 2020. We found this location pretty much, kind of by accident. They kind of, we got permission to investigate it. It's an old nursing home for the mentally disabled, and it shut down in December of 2005. And if you guys follow my page and follow my show too and stuff, I'm extremely skeptical, when it comes to anything paranormal. We try to debunk everything. We take a scientific approach to investigating paranormal occurrences and phenomena, and try to find natural explanations before we jump on the ghost bandwagon. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've been close to 25 years now, and I just hadn't found any location that just stood out in my mind over the years like this place. I mean, this place is legitimately haunted. It makes me rethink what my definition of haunted is. Even we'll investigate other places since this location, and it's just like it's kind of a letdown because of the crazy activity we experience at this place. And again, it's called Pine Lawn Manor. It's in Sumner, Illinois. And it started out, Greg, as like knocks and bangs, just weird sounds, inside the building. And that's pretty much how it started out. We were hearing strange sounds. It was almost residual at first. We couldn't figure out where these sounds were coming from, what was causing them. It would almost sound like a rock was shot out of a slingshot and bounced around these rooms, down hallways. We heard metallic objects being thrown. We heard glass breaking. And at first, we couldn't find anything. It was all residual. And it's like over time, it started escalating into we started finding the objects and then eventually seeing the objects being thrown out of thin air, like marbles. A marble will come out of an empty room. And that's when I first got the realization this is real, because my first thought was, okay, who's throwing this stuff? Even my own team members, I was checking their pockets. I tried to debunk everything, make sure nobody's, doing anything dumb. I trust my team members, but still, you gotta question things when you see a marble fly out of thin air. You don't know where that comes from. So, but the realization, hit me when me and John Sweat, one of my team members, were walking into one of the rooms or down a hallway, and we actually saw a green marble fly out of an empty room. And we both ran into the room. It was completely empty, nobody in there. I have no explanation for how it happened. Just a marble flew out of an empty space. And this continued, to just escalate. We would get 3 to 5 marbles thrown at us. We had haunted tours in there, Greg, during like Halloween, where we had 30 to 40 members of the public in there, and they all witnessed this stuff. They witnessed marbles flying. They witnessed coins being tossed down the hallway, with no origin. A lot of this stuff, it comes from nowhere. It's not stuff that's already in the building. It's not like they're transporting stuff in the building. We don't know where they're getting it. These marbles aren't inside the building. They're coming from somewhere else. And over the course of the investigations, we've had marbles thrown at us, like little red, yellow, and blue plastic balls thrown at us. We had dice on one occasion. That was on the solstice. We went there on the winter solstice on the 21st of December, and we got 5 dice thrown at us down the hallway. We caught that on our live feed. So but people were so skeptical when we were telling them about it. They come in on our tours and they leave believers. We had one guy, he was a complete atheist, and he didn't believe in anything. He didn't believe in, ghosts. He didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in an afterlife. He was on one of our haunted tours, and he left changing, his whole perspective on life after this place, because of the things he witnessed. The night he was there, and I seen it too, a quarter came out of a wall and flew down, and a marble came out from underneath a door where there was a solid wall behind the door. Like, like it wasn't the doorway. The door was kind of shut up against the wall, and it came out from where the wall was at, not where the doorway was at, which is impossible. So, I mean, he left just shaking, and, like all of us, we're still in shock of this place. I mean, that's what's going on. That it changed my whole belief on a lot of things, the spiritual world, and it really made us think, there's definitely something beyond this life, out there, and it's intelligent. It remembers us because we have proof of that because it almost knows who I am. One of my team members at the time, Luke, he said, "Why don't you throw a coin at Snider?" While I was walking down the hallway. And I didn't even know he said it. And he was on the other end of Pine Lawn Manor, and I was on the opposite end of what he was. Didn't know he said this. And I got a coin thrown at me. He hears me screaming. He's like, he gets on the radio. He goes, "What happened?" I go, "Someone just threw a coin at me." He goes, "No way. I just told him to throw a coin at Snider." And so, I mean, it's just crazy. They know who we are. They're intelligent. It's the most crazy haunting I've ever seen, Greg.
I know that, when you talk about some of the investigations that we've all done where we'll do an overnight and we sort of map out where the furniture is and things that are all on so we can tell whether or not they've been moved or not, usually do it with tape.
Yes.
Tape around, that kind of thing. And I know that your group went into extensive measures to go ahead and make sure where all these coins were, and you did some looking into as far as the dates were concerned too. I remember that you had on one of those shows that you had running that I had watched with you live that night, and you were talking about dates on coins. Why don't you tell everybody about that? That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we looked up all the dates on the coins. Yeah, we would extensively document this activity, and we still are. We call it blue tape it. We've got blue painter's tape. We basically, anytime an object is thrown inside Pine Lawn Manor, we tape, where the object hit. We leave it there for a little while. We were going to leave it, permanently so people could see where everything had been thrown, but we've had over 80 objects thrown at us now. So it got to the point to where we had to clean this stuff up because we were bumping into it. We were kicking it by accident. So what we did, we marked on the floor with blue tape, date, time, what was thrown, whether it was a marble, a coin, a dime, the date of the penny, where it was located at. And we got so much stuff, we started bagging and tagging everything in Ziploc bags and index cards. We would put, basically like evidence, in these Ziploc bags with a card, as to where it landed at, the time, the date, and everything. So we've got record of and picture, photographic and video evidence of where everything landed and hit too. So, we've got it really well documented. If you go in Pine Lawn Manor and you go into like Group 3 hallway, it looks like a blue tape everywhere. I mean, it looks like a bowling alley in there. I mean, we pretty much, have been hit with something in every area in there. But yeah, there's blue tape all over the floor. It's like that's all you see in there. That's how much stuff has been thrown at us. And but yeah, we looked into dates, on the coins to see if it represented anything. One of the crazy things we done was we got the idea. Some of the residents were buried in Sumner Cemetery, which is right down the road from it. They, some of the I guess the residents in there, they were kind of, probably they'd been left by their family members. A lot of these people, kind of just unfortunately left there to die.
Dropped off.
Yeah. And the little area of the Sumner Cemetery, there's markers out there where they provided them with just little, cheap grave markers where a lot of them, when they passed away, they would bury them out there. Well, what we do, because we don't know who's throwing it, we don't know what ghost or spirit is responsible for throwing this, because we've documented over 50 deaths in there, and we're still finding like death records of people that passed away at Pine Lawn. And but we put coins on their graves, and we numbered them. And we numbered them like 1 through 21, I believe it was. And there's like 26 of them buried out there, I think. Maybe we went to 26, but they went out there and they put pennies, out there, and we numbered them with a permanent marker on the back of them. And so we tried an experiment. We were in Pylon. We were like, okay, if it's one of you guys that's buried, out in the cemetery, could you guys please throw the penny off of your grave? We tried that several times to see if we could get that to happen, since it was throwing coins and stuff at us. Nothing happened. I bet we went 5 investigations in. And one night I was joking and I said, guys, those pennies are still on your grave. And one of the ladies that died there, her name is BB. Her real name is Beatrice June, and she's buried out in the cemetery, and her coin was out there. And I was jokingly saying, hey, Beatrice, I was like, if you want to get in my vehicle, I said, I can take you down to the Sumner Cemetery and show you where this coin is if you want to throw it at me. It wasn't 3 to 5 minutes later, Greg. We walked into the dining area, and Amanda Rout, one of my team members, had put candy canes on stuff, and there's a piano in there that's supposed to play. So we checked to make sure the candy cane was still there, and we looked down, and there is a penny with the number 14 laying on that piano. And at the time, we didn't know who it was. Dickerson had a record and file of which number was on which grave. And I called him real quick, and he brought up his file. It was Beatrice June, BB, the one I told that you can get in my truck and go down there if you want. I can show you where it's at. She apparently listened. So just strange phenomena. It's proved that they can teleport objects from other places. I originally thought that the teleported objects, or some people call it apportation or teleportate, some people call it different things. But I originally thought, my theory was, where are they getting this? Is it coming from a different dimension? And this is kind of a joke we have too. I don't know if I told you about it, but one of the plastic balls that got thrown at us, I picked it up and looked at it, in real fine print on it, it says "Made in China." And so we laugh and say, that they must be getting their stuff in China too. But, that kind of proved to me that it was, some of these objects aren't coming from a dimension that we don't know about, or something, that they're maybe teleporting or transporting them from somewhere on the earth plane somehow. And it's a lot to think about, a lot of theories, how do they get it from one place to another? Just crazy stuff.
Well, to catch up with some of the things that have been said, we mentioned a lot of it about the hanging of Elizabeth Reed before you got on, and then we also mentioned about the fact that there are 2 Jason Sniders, and I told everybody who you were, and the other Jason Snider is from Fort Wayne, and he's also is involved with the Post-Town event, the Paranormal Unity event that's going to be in September and all that. So all that was mentioned. Don is on now. Debbie Cashel and Karen Cat, Deidre Holland, Kathy. Can you see you don't have any of that. Do you have the comments by you?
I can't see the comments, Greg. Okay. No.
Kathy Perazon.
Okay, cool.
So everybody, and then
there's Kathy. Hey, Kathy. I seen her comment pop up. Maybe you threw it up there. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but it's really amazing. I tried to go ahead and do something with the 2 different Jasons, and saying what's better than having one Jason Snider on one week. And I said, then it's to follow up the second week with another Jason Snider. So,
hey, maybe me and him need to get together. Maybe I need to have him on my show too. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. He's on. I thought I saw him on here a minute ago. Yeah, he was on here. He talks about Tina Marie Ronan and myself,
there he is.
Keith and Daryl. So you got Daryl, you got Keith H. Daryl's from Post-Town, Keith H., Tina Marie Ronan, and Jason Snider. There he is now. And I had another little interesting thing I was going to talk to him. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow about messing him up with somebody else as far as the faces were concerned. So
Right.
it was pretty crazy. And Jen's here now. She's here. So there's a lot of people that are all going to be going to Post Town that are on here right now for
Awesome.
that September time. And the other one, I don't know if I mentioned to you about Mansfield Reformatory, that they're having one in May, 22nd and 23rd, and they're actually going to have the vendors in the cells of the West Cell Block.
Oh, really?
Remember how those cells were in the West Cell Block?
Oh yeah.
They were sort of like, you could see how they were set in a different period. There were some that were put together at one time, and they did different things with the rest of them there. And that's where I got all that crap thrown at me there.
I remember walking there, Mansfield, and about the only activity I really experienced was what sounded like a pebble or a rock being thrown from up above. You know, I was walking down, and it came from like way up above me. You know, what is that, like 3-4 stories high, that one side?
No, you're talking about the east side. The east side's taller.
Yeah, it may have been the north side. Yeah.
That's the one where we did the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it being real tall on that side. But yeah, it sounded like something got thrown at me from up above. You know, I thought maybe it was a bat or a bird, maybe knocked something off, but it just kept happening, kind of following me along as I was walking, which was kind of weird. So it's a pretty interesting place. I had fun at that place. That's like one of the biggest prisons I've investigated too. I mean, that place is huge once you get inside. I think I got lost in there a couple of times. Kind of like
Go ahead.
It's kind of like the Winchester Mystery House. I could have swore I went up this one set of stairs. I don't even think it had a doorway at the top of it. I mean, it was like, I think I walked up and there was like this wall, and I'm like, where am I at? Yeah, but yeah, I got turned around in there.
I did a video, and you know, of the East Cell Block, and just before it was getting dark, so you could see it all the way up. And I want to say it's 7 floors. I want to say it's 7. And it looked like it came right out of the movie Alien.
Yeah.
Because of how dark it was, and it was all metal and everything, you know. Right. Real freaky. But that is a very interesting location, you know, Pine Lawn Manor. And and it seems to me that, you know, and I feel pretty bad that I still haven't gotten down there. But it's got to be the right time, and you know, I can ice fish if I got the right clothes on. But you know,
it was like ice fishing in there the other night when Kathy and everybody was in there. I'll tell you what, surprised we didn't have icicles hanging off of our like ears and I don't know what. But yeah, it was pretty cold in there that night. But yeah, you need to come down, Greg, definitely, especially when it warms up. The full moon and the new moon seem to be the most active in there. I see Wendy's got a comment popped across there, having talked about the magnet number that was thrown, and that was pretty interesting. What she's talking about, we had a group in there, another pretty good-sized group that night. There was probably 20 of us in there that night. And I brought a couple guys that I was friends with, and they were real skeptical of the stuff that was going on too there at Pine Lawn Manor. But he came in, Ricky and Brett, and they were in there. And there's letters that we put. Trish, one of my team members, put some letters out on a table, and they're basically like plastic letters that have magnets on the back of them. And her thought process was, you know, maybe, you know, since a lot of these the patients there were nonverbal, but they would do a lot of activities during the day, you know, and stuff, you know, because they were the mentally disabled. You know, she thought maybe they could, you know, use these letters and spell their name out or something for us. So really great idea, and I'm really glad she done it because she put all these out on a table, you know, up front of Pine Lawn, and there was a couple events that have happened with these letters. Now we locked the door, came back in on another investigation. Nobody had a key, nobody was in there. We had cams set up. and it had spelled out in these letters and in all the same color, "No dead," almost like they were trying to say "not dead." Only it said "no dead" in the letters. And we have photographic, we have pictures of the pile of letters before and after to prove, that it actually did do that. We can't prove that nobody snuck in, but we had it all locked up. But, it spelled out "no dead," which is really weird. Another strange incident that happened with these letters, the second incident, was with my friend, Brett and Ricky, when I brought them in there. They were real skeptical. And he's on the fire department too, and on a different fire department what I am. But his number happens to be like 605 on this fire department. And he was like, "Can you show me something specific to me to prove to me that you're here?" Ricky was saying. And all of a sudden you hear a boom, something hits in front of him and Brett in group 3 hallway, which is a long way from where this letter pile is at. And we look down and shine, and there's a blue number 5 right in front of him. And the number 5 was, his fire number, and it kind of freaked him out, so he's like, maybe he was trying to be, specific with him, trying to get his attention. But it took, so Courtney was there that night, and she had a picture, and she went running up front to verify the picture, to make sure that it came from the pile. And sure enough, the number 5 was missing out of the pile, and it was in the picture previous to that event. So, it transported a letter from one part of the building to another and dropped it in front of them, which is pretty neat.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're really piquing a lot of people's interest in that place,
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like I said, I would put money on it being the most haunted place in the United States. I mean, I've told people that for a long time. I mean, I've been all over. I mean, you've been to several places with me too. I mean, I've been out to Stanley Hotel in Colorado. I've been all over Florida. I mean, we've been all over the United States, trying to find the most haunted locations that we can find. And I found it right here in Sumner, Illinois, about 35 minutes from my house. And it took me 25 years to do it, Greg, but I found one of the most haunted places, I've ever seen. So
it's like you've gone thousands and thousands of miles, and then there's something, a real honey hole, and it's like 10 minutes from your house.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy and ironic. And Karen's saying there, yeah, she's one of them. She witnessed a golf ball coming from nowhere. That was our Christmas event that, unfortunately, I was sick. We had a public Christmas event on December 26th. We had it because the way Christmas fell this year, we didn't want to have it right on Christmas. So we had a Christmas at Pine Lawn public event, and Karen Catt was one of the people that attended that. And again, I wasn't there. I was sick that night, but they saw or had a golf ball float, like come out of nowhere. That's the biggest object we've had thrown yet. I mean, I guess it bounced down the hallway, and she got to see that. So I'm really glad, she was there for that event. The public was all there and witnessed that, so it's like, and that's the thing, we check, we started checking pockets, and we started showing the public that we have nothing in our pockets. So that way, we're being honest and they're being honest. We check people as they come in now, just to say, just to make sure nobody has any objects they could be throwing. That way it's all, legit and there's no question to it. But, the cool thing is, Greg, a lot of this stuff comes at you, and stuff that you couldn't physically do. If we're going to throw something, even in the dark, it's going to go away from you. This stuff will come down an empty hallway at you. Like it'll roll toward you, not away from you, like as if somebody threw it. So, that's the weird thing too. Out of empty rooms, a lady had a quarter dropped on her head one night. She was sitting in the hallway, and it just dropped in her hair, and she felt it, and like that, Oh, Amanda Roughton had a ball put in her hat. She had a toboggan hat on, and I was joking because she had a pencil hanging out of her ear, and I was like, did that ghost put a pencil in your ear or what, Amanda? Just joking with her. And she went like that to reach for the pencil, and she's like, oh my God. And her eyes got as big as saucers, and like she pulled a ball out of her, the rim of her hat that it had put there. So like these ghosts are like magicians. That's one thing I can compare it to, is like there's a professional magician loose in the building.
And for those people that are watching, if you go to the page, Jason has all that stuff on film.
Yeah.
It's all been recorded. Everything that he's been talking about, I've seen on his shows. So whether I've seen it live or I watched it later, most of them were all live too, which makes it even more interesting.
Right, I know. Yeah, we've captured a lot of stuff on live, Greg. One night on our live feed, well, the dice, like I said, I put the camera on the floor, the live feed camera on the floor, and lit it up, because a lot of times it happens in complete darkness. But I thought, man, I'm going to try to get this to happen in the, on the camera with the light. I put the camera on the floor, lit it up, and I said, if you're here, could you please throw something toward this camera light? I bet 5 minutes later, that's when we got the dice thrown and caught all of it, on live feed. So, like, I mean, you could actually see the dice just come out of nowhere, and it equaled. This is weird. It threw 2 at one time, and then it threw 3 dice. There was 5 thrown all together, and they equaled like 13. The roll did all together, which is kind of weird, because we counted the dice, see what it added up to, and it added up to 13.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lucky number.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
The thing with the cold and the cold weather, and I know that you mentioned before about the fact that it seemed to have slowed down. Do you think that the amount of people that you've had going through there has caused them to be shy and hang away?
Maybe we've come up with a lot of theories as to that, because here in 2021 it slowed down tremendously. So we don't know if it's on a cycle or if it's burned its energy out now, if it's some type of poltergeist situation. Because if it's a poltergeist, type haunting, which it's kind of a combination of everything. It's a real weird haunting. But if it is, more on the poltergeist side, they have a tendency of burning out over time. They'll peak in activity. They make a lot of sounds, a lot of noises, because we were hearing bangs and loud bangs too with this, like poltergeist activity. Wind chime got hit in there. A guy got hit in the knee on one of our haunted tours, had to be taken out by ambulance. We had to take him to the hospital by ambulance, because I'm an EMT too, and I looked at his leg, and he couldn't move his leg. We had to help him to the door. Me and Ed pretty much got him to the door, got an ambulance there, and he had to go to the hospital because he said he got hit by some unseen force. So I don't think it was anything bad in there, but this thing has the ability to hit things. I'm not so sure the guy wasn't provoking a little or something. I wasn't around when it happened. I just got called by radio and went running over there after it happened. But Amanda Rowden, one of my team members, she was in there when it happened, and she said he didn't. He was just sitting there, and all of a sudden, and we had audio going, and you could hear like a boom, like something hit his leg on the audio when we played it back, which is pretty weird. But she said it was weird. He just acted like he got hit and went down. But a lot of strange things have happened in there. I mean, I can't even recall half the things, but I think I kind of strayed off from your original question there.
Oh, that's what
the coldness. Yeah, I think, there's a lot of theories as to why I think it's dwindling down. It could be the cold, which I got a real weird thing to tell you about that here in a minute. But one of our theories is too, they took these individuals out in December of 2005 really quick. They moved a lot of the residents out of Pine Lawn because they got fined by the state, and the state shut the place down. So they were literally putting these, residents in buses, anything they could find to get them to new facilities. And, the ones that had died there, the ones that maybe their ghosts or spirits remain there, we're thinking once we did that Christmas event that some of them passed over, to the other side, because maybe they needed one last Christmas or something. And we gave them this Christmas event there. We put a tree up for them and all this. And we're thinking one of our theories is maybe some of them passed over because they wanted one last Christmas, or something. But we don't know for sure. There's a lot of theories as to what's going on and why it stopped. Could be on a yearly cycle where it peaks in September to December, which we're going to have to find out. But going back to the cold, this is an weird and interesting theory that I was kind of given, I guess, by the ghosts or spirits, not from that location, but I was doing a ghost box ITC session over in an old church, and this was last year also. And I get a lot of weird responses at this location. I do a lot of ITC experiments there because of this location. I get so much communication. But on one night I recorded, it came through the ghost box. I mean, just plain and clear. It said the cold restricts us. And that was a clear message I got from the other side. I mean, it was just, I mean, it was definitely a voice, an intelligent response coming through. Because I said, is there anything you'd like to tell me? And he goes, the cold restricts us. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So, there may be some scientific backing as to, cold and heat affects a lot of things, from sound waves to, everything. So, could the cold, affect paranormal activity and restrict it to the point to where they don't have as much energy or something? So that's one of my theories too, that I've got, thought about since I, received that message, on one of my ITC sessions I was doing. And I try to listen to that stuff, because when you're doing ITC sessions or ghost box sessions, any type of EVP work, I mean, sometimes they will tell you things, that about the spirit world or about, haunting like phenomena. So you got to listen to that and take it into consideration, because a lot of people just, they'll hear those voices and stuff and just, okay, it's an EVP, but, listen to what they're saying. And that was actually a voice I got one time there at this particular church too. And that's the reason why I'm kind of giving this message, because like they said, one of the voices said, listen to what I'm saying. And, and like I've always thought about that every time I do a session now, because there were so many times before I got that message where, I'd halfway listen to it, and just think nothing of it. But it was like, you really got to sit and listen to the messages that they're giving you. And because they could be trying to tell you how to communicate better. So.
Now, all this that you're just telling me, I have been looking in, and one of the ways that I look at a lot of the ITC work is the fact that, just like with your spirit box, it's like your own phone.
Right.
And the more you use your phone, and the more people are acclimated to your phone, the more they're willing to go ahead and talk to you.
Right.
And then you take that part, and then you add on the energy with the cold, and say they come in, they want to talk, but their energy is down. Usually they grab our energy from our equipment, but now our batteries are low too because it's cold. So that's right. Why I think that the communication is down in that respect.
Yeah.
There's no way that they can keep on going in the situation. They're like the Energizer Bunny, they just start slowing down.
Right. And,
so that whole idea, when you go into a situation like that, and you got this, they know who you are. And right. I keep on stressing that to people that I do a lot of work with on this. And I don't have any problems with going back to the same place over and over and over again, because eventually there's going to be that one spirit that's going to go ahead and come out finally and say, okay, this guy's legit.
Right.
These other ones they'll knock once or twice. They're not really interested in me. They're here to grab their EVPs or whatever, and they're gone. They could care less about me.
Yep. And that is, and that's something we learned through Pine Lawn too. Yes, you've got to make friends with them.
Right.
You can't, a lot of people think you can go to a place one time and, it's either active or it's not, it's haunted or it's not haunted. Some places you can get a good feel for that. Some places you can't. But what Pine Lawn has taught us too is, they had to warm up to us, and they still sometimes have to warm up to us, we'll get a group, a tour group in there. A lot of times they're more active with a lot of people, but it seems, you know, you can tell the groups they don't care for versus the groups that, you know, they you know, kind of like too. You know, stuff will happen. They'll throw stuff at the, you know, the better groups versus the ones that are more negative. Nothing will happen, sort of a thing. But yeah, you definitely have to let them warm up to you, I think, and they do know who we are, definitely. You know, and it proved that, you know, by Luke telling it to throw something at me, and it threw something at me clear across the building. So, you know, they know our names, they know who we are, and I think you can establish a almost, this sounds weird, but almost a relationship with the ghosts or spirits of a location, you know, and I think that's what you have to do sometimes is, you know, establish that connection and that relationship, so they will come out and talk to you where otherwise they wouldn't. I'm reading Ben's comment. Yeah, could still be learning how to communicate with us if a newer spirit. I'm not sure what he's saying there. I think what he's saying is like if it's a newer ghost or spirit, you know, maybe they've just passed on. Maybe they're still learning how to in the spirit world communicate. What he's saying, yeah, and that's a good theory too. Ben's got there, you know, because does it take time? Yeah, you know, does it take time for a ghost or spirit to be able to learn how to speak to us on a device or knock on a door? You know, we don't know if we instantly have those skills, or if that's something we have to obtain after we die. You know, do we continue to advance spiritually after we're dead to the point to where we can communicate with the living better? I think that's what Ben's kind of getting out there.
I think they like to walk softly because they have no idea what you're going to do to them, because they don't really even know, half of them, if they're really passed or not.
Yeah.
They know something's wrong, but they don't know to what extent. You know?
Right.
And then you got people coming in making faces at you. That kind of thing, you know, that's crazy. But it's really, you know, and if you go into a location and you treat them with respect, like their family, and you know as well as I do, if you walk into a place, you do get a feeling of what is there. You know, you get a feeling of what kind of real vibration to give up. And Tina Marie always talked about vibrations, the energy level, how it comes across to you, whether it would come across as positive or negative.
Yeah.
And you get a good idea in that respect of what you're dealing with, and you know the kind of questions you can throw at them. And you know, if you use the utmost respect, they're not going to go ahead and really get upset with you. You know, they want to talk too. You know.
Right.
So,
yeah.
If you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say some EVP researchers have suggested too. You know, like, is there anyone here? You know, when most people are like when they're recording EVPs, they're like, is there anyone here that wants to speak with us? Well, sometimes you have to be more specific than that, you know, and if you're trying to make contact with a certain individual or, you know, a certain person died there, you do have to call them by name because, you know, there might be 5 or 6 people trying to, you know, kind of worried, you know, who wants to talk first here, you know, or you do kind of have to be specific and kind of call out somebody. But
look at Julie's question.
Okay. Do you think spirits, ghosts get tired of being asked the same questions over and over again? I think they do. I mean, I think they pretty much keep their same characteristics, you know, as what, you know, we do in life. You know, we don't like getting asked the same questions over and over and over again, you know, and I think it works the same way in the spirit world, you know, like, you know, you get multiple groups going into these locations, you know, especially locations, you know, that are famous that people try to go to, you know, like Waverly Hills and, you know, these big places where there's somebody there almost constantly, you know, trying to talk to you and trying to ask you these questions. Yeah, eventually I think they're either gonna burn out or they're gonna communicate with somebody that's asking a question that's more original that they've never heard before. Maybe they get off onto a different topic, you know, as far as, you know, not your common, you know, what year did you die? You know, are you male, female, that type of thing. You know, get off those normal questions people ask and ask just something random out of the ordinary, you know. like what kind of car did you drive or something, people don't ask stuff like that. You may get a response versus your typical questions people ask all the time, but I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Then Ben goes ahead and he mentions the fact that if they're a certain way in life, that they're probably going to be that same way in a spirit or in a ghost form before they cross over, I would say, because once they cross over, then they're all loving and caring, and when they come back, they have a different attitude compared to what a ghost does. And that's like my mentor Scotty Rourke would say, and that's interesting. So let's jump from there to another location you guys were at not too long ago, and that's Whispers Estate.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting place.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Again, we're real skeptical when we go into places like that, especially the real, the famous places or the places that's got a reputation of already being haunted. And those are really my favorite places of investigating, Greg. Like your famous places, I like to just because, they're cool, and everybody says they're haunted and everything. But I'd rather find some hole in the wall like we found in Sumner versus,
right.
like places that already have a reputation as established as being haunted. But Whispers Estate, kind of caught my eye because it seemed like everywhere we went, especially in the Indiana area, have you guys investigated Whispers Estate? Have you guys investigated Whispers Estate? Everybody would always ask us. Of course, we did Willow's Weep and debunked the heck out of that. I don't know if you heard about all that, but we'll get into that in a minute if you want. But Whispers Estate was pretty interesting. Really pretty old house. We could find no documentation that Rachel, the main story, actually existed. Like there was, the guy, the doctor basically that haunted the house. There's proof that his wife passed away in the house. Other than that, we couldn't find a lot of documentation of deaths in the house, especially the girl named Rachel that everybody sees in there. So we kind of took that with a grain of salt. It may, or maybe something's been passed down through legends and lore and oral history and not documented too. You have that sometimes, but we didn't find a lot there other than one strange light anomaly we still can't explain. We were setting up the cameras. It was right at the beginning of the investigation. I don't know if you watched our live from there, Greg, but it was like this burst of light came down the hallway and it just lit the whole room up, lit our IR cameras up, kind of made it go kind of fuzzy, went back out. And we went up there immediately, tried to debunk it. All the windows are covered in like black plastic and curtains, so there was no outside light source getting in to cause it. We looked and the only light on in the hallway didn't surge. There wasn't like a power surge or anything because when me and I think it was Amanda Johnson went up there, we were trying to debunk it. Dickerson seen it again on the camera, and I was standing right there where where it happened. It happened with us in there a second time. No light surge. There was no lights coming through the windows at the time it happened. We thought maybe we had a problem with our IR camera. Maybe they was sensitive to light. It was coming on and off or something, but that wasn't the case. We left it in the same location. We tried to cover a lamp that was hanging over a stairway. We covered it up with like a blanket so we didn't get IR reflection off of the globe. We thought maybe it's IR light reflecting off this globe back into our camera system. And wasn't that. We couldn't duplicate it, couldn't have it happen again. We still don't know what it is. Not saying it's paranormal, but it's extremely weird.
So that you didn't have any table tipping or anything when you were there?
No, no table tipping or anything.
Have you ever seen J.C. Rosita's documentary on there?
I have, yeah. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, we didn't have anything like that. We didn't use the Ouija boards or anything either while we were there, but I did go in the glass room. I don't know if was that there when you were there, the mirror room?
I haven't been there.
Oh, you haven't been there?
Not in person. That's why if I know somebody's been to Whispers, I like to just pick their brain a little bit, and then I sort of make these little notes that I have to copy down right away or I'll forget. But that kind of thing. It's really neat to see a different person's perspective and then to go in and form my own.
Right.
Because that's what
Right.
this is all about anyway. You know,
Yeah.
it's like they say in some of the programs in life, they'll say, you got to go in there and you got to steal that off of somebody.
Right.
Because it's your own way of, coming to a conclusion. And it's not stealing, but there's certain
Right.
people that would use that word, and not necessarily in the paranormal field, but it's a good way of looking at and taking a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It can save you a lot of time if you know that maybe it's not worth it. You're still going to go in there and come to your own conclusion, but then after a while, you'll see that wasn't really necessary if you would have listened.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The mirror room though was pretty interesting. I mean, I think they put that in there recently. It's a new thing they've added to it. And you're actually the whole room is full of mirrors with mirrors all around you. I mean, you're even stepping on mirrors. Like I probably got, I don't know how many bad years of luck here because I'm pretty sure a couple of them cracked as I was walking. But you're walking on mirrors in this room upstairs in the top part. And they thought maybe it would, I guess kind of cause some activity to take place because there's a lot of research that's been done involving mirrors and multidimensional theories, that they can come through mirrors and use it as portals and that type of stuff. But the thing that interests me the most about the mirror room was, before Sarah Estep died, I had talked to her. And if you aren't familiar with Sarah Estep, I'm sure a lot of you are, but she was the founder of the American Association for Electronic Voice Phenomena and pretty much a pioneer in the EVP field. The movie White Noise was pretty much made after her, but they kind of butchered it. But anyway, Sarah had told me that she had got an EVP one time where they said mirrors help them communicate. So she would set up mirrors and put a digital recorder, or well, she used cassette back in the day, but she would use the cassette recorder or whatever and set a mirror up beside it and try to communicate with a ghost or spirit, or she even called them multidimensional beings she was communicating with. She claimed to be in contact with things other than from this earth. She said she would be in contact with what she called multidimensional beings. They could be aliens, they could be, who knows at that point. But she said the mirror set up beside the recorder actually helped them, and they told her to do that. And so that interests me big time when I seen the room full of mirrors at Whispers Estate. I was like, okay, maybe, this is a cool way, because I've never been completely surrounded by mirrors and tried it, but we didn't get a whole lot. So
did they have it on the ceiling too?
Yes, on the ceiling too. I mean, there's not a section that's not covered. It's pretty cool.
Nick has a box that's all mirrors inside. And I can't remember her name now. Maybe if he comes on and he mentions that. Well, anyway, this box is used because if a spirit goes into it, it can't get out.
That's wow. Yeah. So it's kind of like a ghost trap.
Like a what?
It's kind of like a ghost trap on Ghostbusters. He's saying they go in and they can't get out.
Yeah, they get trapped in there.
That's pretty weird. Yeah,
they can't find their way out.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. Especially if there is any type of truth to multi-dimensions and mirrors. And mirrors being a doorway to other dimensions. I mean, it totally makes sense. If you get into there, you don't know which way to go and which way. I mean, it kind of makes sense.
That was Colleen Nadas. She's out west now. She used to be around back by us. And once she moved out a little farther west, she hasn't been around too much, but nothing's really been happening here. But she came up with this box. And she used it a lot with Christopher Fleming and John Stevens and that from the South Side. They did a lot of filming on a couple of mansions out by out Elgin and around that area there. and Nick's got that box now. It's got a cracked mirror now, though, so they might just crawl right through that crack and get out.
Now, was that from dropping it, or did one of them try to get out and break it?
I don't know. He had it at his house, and he says that it broke somehow because he couldn't bring it. I'm sorry about this knocking. My phone was going off. Drive me crazy.
Mine does that too very much. I have to put it on silent. And I get
what are you going to be doing? What are you going to be doing this year now? Are you going to stick local, or what? You got any big stuff planned for?
Oh yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned for this year already. We got a lot of investigations lined up still. I mean, of course, we're going to continue to investigate Pine Lawn. We're going to do a daytime investigation of Pine Lawn, like an all-day investigation, because we've never done a daylight one there yet. We've got a lot of places on our list, a lot of local places like the pub at Robinson, Illinois. We're going to be investigating the Main Street pub. This Monday night, we're going to be investigating a American Legion at Toledo, Illinois. And that's located up by Greenet. They contacted us and are completely scared. You know, the employees are freaked out in there. They're seeing apparitions. They're hearing disembodied voices. And so we're going in Monday night. I think we're going to go live around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time this Monday and investigate the American Legion at Toledo, Illinois. So trying to think all the other places. We've got a lot of outdoor locations we can't get to right now just because of the cold. It's like 9 degrees here tonight, or 10. It's pretty cold, so we're trying to stick with the indoor places right now. But yeah, we got several. We got a bowling alley to investigate, and some of our bigger trips. Like if we can get permission to get back in, we got the Limp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri. We were scheduled to investigate in 2020, and I'm just waiting on the lady pretty much that runs it. She's kind of in fear of COVID right now, so she doesn't want to get out much. And she said as soon as the stuff calms down, she's going to reschedule our investigation for the Limp Mansion there in St. Louis. We got a lot of stuff on our list. We plan on going to the Bell Witch Cave also in Tennessee. That's one of our trips I think we're going to make this summer. Coming up at the end of February here, if it's not too cold again, we're scheduled to investigate a place called Draper's Cabin. And have you ever heard of Step Cemetery in Indiana?
No.
It's a pretty famous haunted cemetery in the Indiana area, and it's called Step. It's Stepp, I believe is how it's spelled, Step Cemetery. And people see a lady in black there. They've reported strange phenomena in that cemetery for a long time. It's close to the Morgan Monroe State Forest there in Indiana. And the cabin is located close to the cemetery. It's called Draper Cabin. Now, people have had strange reports in this cabin for years, too, in the woods surrounding the cemetery, because there was a lot of cult and early religious activity that took place, in the woods surrounding the cemetery and the cemetery itself, years ago. So we're going to investigate the cabin, and we're going to spend the night there. We're actually going to take, cots and sleeping bags. This is like a pretty primitive cabin, and that's why we're hoping the weather gets a little better here than what it is right now. There is a fireplace in there, but it's not heated, so we're going to have to bring in wood and start a fire and everything in there, because it's just this little primitive, cabin in the woods, but it's supposed to be haunted as heck. So that's going to be the end of February. We're going to try to go live with it, but that area is a complete dead zone for cell signal too. So I think we're going to have a hard time doing a live feed from there. There's also a cave in the area that we're going to be investigating, and it's called Salamander Cave. And I believe it was in the 60s, but I may be wrong on that. I got a lot of dates floating around up here. A group of kids went into the cave, and they warned them that, do not explore the cave during high water or the rainy seasons. They went in there during the rainy seasons, and they got trapped in there. It kind of flooded, and 3 kids died in there inside this cave. So it's rumored to be haunted also. It's called Salamander Cave, and it's located just pretty close to the Draper Cabin area. It's kind of a Bloomington, Indiana area. So, I mean, we got a lot on our list coming up. We're going to knock those off and see where that takes us.
Yeah, that Jen Hodgson is on her. I'm going to be on her show Sunday. She's a psychic medium from Psychics Unite, and she's a great lady, and she's saying to one of the other ladies, and they both live in Indiana, and she says we need to check this out. So now they're getting some good pieces of information too.
Cool.
Julie, we were just with them this afternoon. They were doing card readings and things, and it's a great group with a lot of great people. But out of all the now, are you going to stay in Indiana, or are you going to do anything out east or anything?
During that trip, or like this summer?
No, for this summer.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go all over, Greg. Like we talked about another trip to Gettysburg. Even I don't know if it's gonna happen, and possibly another trip down to Florida. There's a place called the Russ House down there. We were gonna investigate last time we were down there, but we're gonna investigate it. We investigated in Florida last time we were down there, a bridge called Bellamy Bridge. And that's another location we wanted to return to because we had some strange activity. But yeah, we may be in Florida, we may be in Pennsylvania, Tennessee, definitely. We're going to try, like I say, the Bell Witch Cave. We also we're probably going to do a nighttime investigation of Hales Bar Dam and Marina in Tennessee. Also, it's supposed to be one of the most haunted, dams in the world. We were there when we went through Tennessee. Our first go around, we investigated. Right. Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary and all that. And when me and Dale, we went through the little history and haunted tour, and we were basically ghost hunting too. We were looking for stuff, while the guide was talking. We heard like this. I mean, it was just like a straight out of a movie ghost. It was like, ooh, like the echo through the whole dam. And ever since that day, we didn't get to do that. Sideways there. What happened?
Do not attempt to adjust your vertical hold. Doesn't like you, Jason. You froze. Uh-oh. Jason's frozen. He'll come back. I hope. So far, it's pretty interesting. Very, very good show right now. And that Karen Cat one had said the entities definitely respond to Jason. And you could see that. He has a great caring for spirits. Debbie Stewart Wagner says, I just joined and can't wait to watch what I missed later. Pine Lawn Manor is amazing. Deidre says, hi, it is, Greg. Deidre, I've seen your name quite a few times, and I think I saw you last couple days somewhere. It'll come to me once I get a little more oxygen to my head. But sometimes and that's just a joke. Kelly says, yeah, underground tunnels. Let me go ahead and see what's going on. I hate to get put like this, but on the card readings, yes. That was today, and that was over in the group. Did we lose him?
I think we did. He went sideways. I pulled him into the waiting room, and he disappeared. He's probably trying to get back on. So It's about 8:20. I don't know if you want to.
Maybe we'll just call it, because
maybe we will.
3 minutes, it could take 15. So it's been great to have him on the show. I always enjoy him. He always has a bucket of information, shares everything. He's a great guy. He has a great group. You know him as well as I do. Absolutely. He's always been great. There's a lot of spaces that a lot of the people that are watching tonight can share too, if they give him a call. And Ben Irvin says, what was this Psychics Unite thing? Psychics Unite has been put together by the Rourkes, Terry and Scotty Rourke from up in Madison, Wisconsin, and it has different groups around the country. There's about 3 of them in Indiana. There's groups in Illinois. There's groups in Wisconsin, Ohio,
Michigan,
and it's a group for people that have gifts, can go ahead and go and not have to worry about talking about them with the people that are there that can help them out in understanding what they're going through, what kind of gifts they have, and put them in the right directions of if they want to pursue them. And that's why they're there. And it's a great group of people. And it's the same way that the paranormal field was about 20 years ago, where nobody, like when I was younger, you didn't talk about ghosts or spirits or anything like that because people would think you're out of your mind. You'd end up in a loony bin. So it's a good thing to know today that there's a spot like this, a place, a group of like-minded people that can help you along your path if you choose. And that's what it's really about. So if you're interested, Monday night, there's a meeting at 6:30 at Psychics Unite. If you go to the Facebook page, you can go there and you can see the meeting, and you just hit the link and you go into the meeting, and everybody will tell you who they are and what they're about and what they're doing. And then you'll have the opportunity to go ahead and let everybody know who you are and what's going on with you. So if you'd like to do that and join them, you're more than welcome to. They'll have open arms.
And if you don't have Facebook, you can go to the Psychics Unite webpage and find the link to join there.
Thank you.
No problem.
I forgot that. And it's through Zoom.
Oh, I think Jason might be back. I'm bringing Jason back. Hey.
For most people that want to hang around, we're not done yet.
Sorry, guys. I have no idea what happened. I was on the mobile version, and my phone went completely dead there. I don't think I don't know. They don't want me talking tonight, Greg.
Where are you at right now? Are you at home?
Yeah, I'm at home. Okay. I couldn't.
Not like you have anybody in the corner that was messing around with you.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. But I'm back again. This time I'm on a computer.
Good. I'm glad. I went over everything. Was talking to the people about Psychics Unite. That Ben Irvin was curious on what it's about, and
okay.
So it's there's always more room at the table. That's for sure.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, we brought this up when we talked before, and I always mentioned the fact that I really went into it in the beginning thinking that I really wanted to have some eyes myself. So when you go into an investigation, you'd be able to go in there and get an understanding of what's in front of you. Where before that, and there's everybody's got the gifts.
Yeah.
They just have a choice to make if they want to use them or not. So
sure.
It's been very interesting. I know that there's people here that are on here right now that are absolutely fantastic in that respect. There's quite a few of them, and that lets you know that that's great for the community because it'll put more credence into a lot of the things that we try to do, and cut out a lot of the wasted time
right
that we run into, which is important too.
Yeah.
So you got to find out what that is in there that you have inside your room right there right now that you go like all of a sudden you were You look like you're in a Huey or something, you know? You was
Yeah, right when my phone started to go dead or something, and I had it plugged in too. It's really weird. And it's really strange. It looked like the screen went sideways or something right there at the end, and I don't know what happened. But anyway, I'm on a computer now.
Oh, that's good. So what else are you going to be up to? Have you got any new equipment? Let's go there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of stuff we're trying out. We've got the new PSV7T2 we're going to try out. Which, have you tried it yet with the temperature and everything?
No. I
decided
to stick with that S box.
Yeah. Of course, we've got several ghost boxes that we made too. I mean, we've got all the Sangean ghost boxes that we've made, and some other stuff we're going to experiment with, this year. But I don't know. There's just not a lot of exciting equipment coming out, for the paranormal field. They do have a new.
Have you seen one of these?
What one is that? The
Nanocom?
I don't think I have.
The Nanocom S, and it's by Katie Stafford.
Okay.
And Supernatural Inc.
Yeah.
It does its sweeps are automatic. All I got to do is turn it on, and it selects the highest sweep.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So I got that.
Well, that'll be interesting. Yeah, let me know how that turns out.
Yeah, it's been we're doing it. We have a couple places local that we go and just play around with the portable stuff compared to if I wanted to try to bring out the big baby, the portal.
Right. Yeah. You tried it a little at the what was that? The Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, didn't you?
I was going to.
Oh, you didn't get to do it.
By the time I was ready to do it, we were so pooped, It was like, and there's another thing to go ahead and tune in, and it's got its sweet spot, and especially with the way the spirits come through. What's interesting with that machine though is you can go ahead and hook that up like you would a spirit box on a Nestus method.
Yeah.
And the communication that comes through that are words.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
There's none of that, like with the plasma box. I think it was the application. You have like that echo chamber. It's like that. Well, if you've seen any of Steve Huff's stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
On YouTube, it's
right.
It was his machine.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic, but it's the same thing. You've got to take it and you have to use it.
Right.
You have to use it and use it and use it until they understand there's nothing to fear by going ahead and coming up and talking to you.
Yeah.
The room, as they call it.
Well, yeah. You made the comment earlier, and that's pretty much what it is. It's a telephone to the dead. But I've warned other investigators, or other people with me too. You got to be extremely careful labeling a place haunted just because you get communication from in some type of ITC device like a ghost box, a spirit box, whatever it may be, because you could be getting somebody from anywhere talking to you.
Right. From the next state over.
Yeah. So, it may not indicate that location is haunted, so a lot of times we won't base a haunting off of any type of ITC communication unless it's extreme intelligent communication and it's specifically talking about that exact place, or we get, questions answered, involving the exact location. Because sometimes you could be talking to, somebody like the Whispers Estate, and maybe getting somebody that died over at McDonald's estate over.
Right.
So, you don't know who's going to come through.
If you have guides and you use your guides, you set it up that you have a room.
Yeah.
And what you have your guides do is you have your guides bring the spirits or the ghosts to the front of the room if they'd like to say something. Then you have a little better perspective of how far away you're dealing with.
Right.
You're definitely on a different dimension. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't really know. You're not thinking the same way as what you're hearing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different methods. I don't know. I've tried the Estes method too, a lot of times over the years. It's just like, well, we were doing it before they even named it that, we done experiments with that years ago. And, we've done, I mean, you wouldn't believe the crazy EVP and ITC experiments we've done over the years. Like some of them I won't even talk about, but
remember the one from when we were at Old South Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
And Kelly and I were doing it side by side.
Yeah, yeah.
And halfway through, we were bantering back and forth at each other, and we had no idea we were even doing it.
Right. Yeah. There's strange things. I'm telling you. We done the method there at the it's called Cannonball Bridge or St. Francisville Bridge one night, and I had the headphones on. Dickerson was asking questions and everything, and like I was pretty much answering legitimate, hearing stuff come across. I couldn't hear him, see him, obviously, and I was answering the questions as to what he was asking, a little ways away. So I mean, I know it works. Weird things come across like that. He said, like one time he said, "Where are you at?" And I heard somebody said, I'm coming through the woods. Of course, there's a woods right there by the bridge. So I out loud said, "They're coming through the woods." And he like looked at, I looked over and he's after we took this off and he's like freaking out. Cause like, he said, "Yeah, because you said they're coming through the woods." And like, that's what I was asking about where you're at and where they're coming at. And like, it was just weird. I don't know. But yeah, we tried a lot of different stuff, with that. And like, everything from that method to Faraday cages to just weird EVP experiments in general. We'll play stuff in reverse, actually do it out loud in reverse to see if they're actually coming through or can hear it in reverse, because there's a lot of stuff behind reverse speech as well. We've done a lot of reverse speech studies as far as like what is it? Is it the subconscious mind coming through? And if it's a subconscious mind, that proves that a ghost or spirit keeps its intelligence and thought process, after we die too, because, just the stuff that comes through in reverse we get is just incredible. Like we get a lot of EVPs that we have to, either reverse or turn around. They either come through in reverse or they have a reverse meaning, when we play it backwards. And I mean, that's pretty neat, to look at. And it also tells whether or not, if you've got a reverse meaning, if it's human speech. Generally, only human speech will have a reverse meaning. It separates it from the animals and other sounds and stuff, because like human speech is the only thing that, pretty much has a different meaning in reverse. A bird, a dog, it's all going to sound the same when you reverse it. But that's a good way to tell whether it's actually human speech. If you get a Class C EVP you can't really understand, try reversing it to see if it's a different sound or a different, meaning in reverse than it is forward. It's a good way to tell. But a lot of cool stuff you can do.
Oh, that's amazing. That's, we were, Dean Thompson was on with Ghost Head Soup like a week ago. And he finds a lot of his the same way with the reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. EVP is definitely, ITC research, EVP research, that's been my thing for years, because the photography, I mean, I got into photographic evidence, for a long time. And it's just like, there's hardly anything that I can't debunk when it comes to photographic evidence. I mean, I hate people even sending me stuff, because I'm just like, okay, pareidolia and matrixing. It's like you get so much pareidolia and matrixing with your photographs. And even today, people adding stuff in with digital and Photoshop, all kinds of different stuff. But the EVP is legitimate evidence, we can't really explain. When you get intelligent responses to, a question asked and it comes out of thin air, on a digital recorder or something, you can't explain that. And that's what hooked me on the whole EVP research back in the day. I mean, when I got my very first EVP, I was like, it was completely quiet. Nobody else was around. And, I picked up a voice and just like, you're hooked ever, I was hooked ever since then, really.
I had a real good one last summer that I picked up at our historical society, and I had it and I got it to play, and Nick and a couple other people in the group heard it. And then I went ahead and I stopped the machine, and I lost it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm a cameraman.
Yeah.
And a spirit box guy.
Well,
that's this method.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what though, like I've had EVPs that I've heard while I'm out in the field, or I'll put it up to my ear and I'll listen to it, and it will be gone. Like it will disappear on its own. I'll go back to listen to it. I know dang good and well I heard something, because it piqued my interest. I heard, knew what I thought I heard. I'll go back to listen, and there will be nothing there. It's like it almost like it erases itself. And we've had that happen on several different occasions, where, it's like it just eliminates itself. And we've even had whole files disappear off our recorders, really good EVPs, where we did a segment at a location, didn't delete it. We go back to listen to it when we get back home, and it's not even there. The whole file's been deleted. It's like just strange stuff, So it's almost like sometimes they want you to hear it while you're there, but you don't have permission to take it with you.
You didn't sign a release form.
Yeah, you got to sign some type of form to get it home, but it's kind of weird.
That's cool. I know that, of all the stuff that we've done and that we do, that we always run into the situation where we are right now, where we're going ahead and we're looking at the clock and we're going, how much longer do we want to go?
Yeah.
And I know it really doesn't make any difference. Kathy Paris says that she's had EVPs disappear too.
Yeah, I think it's a legitimate phenomenon with paranormal investigators. Like a lot of people don't talk about it, but because they think they're crazy. But yeah, they'll disappear. That's cool. Everybody's saying they've had issues. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. You do have to sign a release form.
Yeah.
We just haven't figured out which one yet.
Right.
There'll be 14 of them, all the same way. Well, I'm sure it's been a great Friday night. And I apologize that we couldn't get you up and running right away, and then we lost you. And
no problem, Greg. It's probably on my end. I'm out in the middle of nowhere here, so I always have internet problems, even with my own show. So, thank you guys for watching too. I'm sorry, apologize to the people out there. Couldn't get on, and then when I did, I lost it. So
it happens to us all. It's just the way it goes, and it's been once again a pleasure having you on tonight. And I know that down the road you'll be back over here, and I may be back over by you, and we'll take it as it comes.
Sounds good, Greg. Yeah, I'll definitely get a hold of you for Pine Lawn Manor. And if there's anybody out there watching, they can visit our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. If you guys want to get on there and see all of our videos and stuff, just check it out. And I appreciate you having me, Greg.
Oh, Jason, whenever you want. That's the way it is.
Thanks, Greg.
We're all part of the same family. Thanks very much for being here. Say hello to everybody on your crew.
Okay. Thanks, Greg. You too.
Okay. Good night.
Good night. Have a good evening.
Good night, everybody. How do we got? There we go.
I'm waiting for it. It says live.